The Building Futures Project supports students with disabilities by providing the same opportunities that other teenagers have to work, to further their education, to have friends, and to be active members of their own communities.
Melissa is a multiply handicapped deafblind child of 19. Melissa is a very intelligent girl.
Isaiah is now 18 and he has a diagnosis of autism. He's actually pretty severely impacted by his autism.
Craig Kinney, our oldest son, he was born with Down syndrome and he did develop some complex medical needs. Because Craig's now 22, it was 9 years ago that we first started looking into transition projects. And in our school district, Old Rochester School District, at that time there were a couple of different transition projects we looked at. Building Futures was the transition project we felt would best work for our son Craig because it was very individualized. Craig had a lot of different needs, but most importantly we wanted it to be individualized to meet his needs. The other transition projects we looked at was more that Craig would have to fit into a program they already developed. And with Building Futures, the program was developed around Craig, individualized.
Being in a residential program and then coming home to Building Futures is an opportunity for all parents who are residential children and should be looked into. The biggest part of bringing her home for the residential was to get the family unit back together again. Melissa was away for 13 years in a residential and missed her a lot for those years. And I wanted Joseph, the youngest boy, to be with her and understand her being home.
Building Futures program was exactly what we needed. We needed a team of people to help us identify Isaiah's interest and skills, and we needed an action plan, and we needed people to help us. Prior to the Building Futures program, my son was a sophomore at Fairhaven High School. But besides his high school life, he really didn't have a typical teenage life. He didn't have a job, he didn't have any social activities, he didn't have any friends. You know, the typical things you think of teenagers as doing. He really just had high school and home. In 6 short months of time, the Building Futures program was able to help us. Isaiah did get his first real job at Silverbrook Farm. One of Isaiah's dreams was to be on stage. And although we wanted to support him with that dream, we had no idea how to make that possible. Through the Building Futures program and the connections that we made through that program, Isaiah started to receive acting lessons, which I have to say, we spent so much time with the speech pathologist, and this acting coach, who we found through the Building Futures program, was really the best speech pathologist we could have ever asked for. And that just snowballed. Through the acting lessons, Isaiah received the confidence he needed to audition for a part in the high school play. He did get a part in the high school play, and because of the play, he then had such an increased confidence that he made all sorts of social connections. My personal favorite is now he has his own friend and a best friend that he met because of the confidence he now has.
I would recommend Building Futures for any family of a child that's disabled and has difficulty so that they can become a part of the community. Melissa now in Building Future is working with the animal shelter with feeding the dogs, giving them water. She is involved with an organic farm, and she also is going to the YMCA where they go swimming and they exercise with her. In the fall, Melissa will be attending UMass Dartmouth and will be going to a course on drumming, something that she has done in her residential schooling. I would really ask the parents to really look into it. It's been a big help to have the child back in the community, back in the home as a residential parent. Building Futures is a wonderful program, and it's wonderful for your child.
Craig's life being part of Building Futures for over 8 years before he turned 22 has impacted his life in so many ways. Many children with developmental disabilities aren't given the opportunities to do everything that other typical kids that age are able to do. Building Futures was able to provide one-to-one individual support for Craig to learn how to go cash a check, go try out different jobs. He worked for Lockheed Martin for over 4 years and had a paid position as a duplicating screen operator. Building Futures staff had Craig go out grocery shopping on a daily basis so he could start learning how to make his own lunches. Building Futures staff developed ways for Craig to build friendships and relationships right in his community with the kids he goes to school with. So Craig has had so many opportunities to go out, see a movie with friends, to go have dinner at Friendly's with friends, to do his favorite activity, which is to go see wrestling live with friends in Rhode Island and Boston. So they've really impacted his life where we could not have done that. Families have to be families, and this transition project through Building Futures has enabled us to continue being a family, but give Craig the supports he needs to also be a normal teenager. Craig started attending Bristol Community College going on 5 years ago. He was leaving the high school at the age of 18, and he really wanted to continue having some type of education. He chose to take black and white photography. He was then introduced to his professor. Her name is Denise. Denise had never had a student with developmental disabilities before. Without Building Futures, though, I think these opportunities wouldn't have been there for him because the support staff from Building Futures was able to build a relationship with Denise and Craig. After 4 years of taking black and white photography, Denise has opened up her classroom to other students with developmental disabilities. Craig's dream has been to be a chef for a local restaurant. He presently is working at the Wave restaurant in Marion, and he makes salads and does prep work for food. He's living the dream that he wanted. Craig has a job, he has friends, he's part of his community, he's a registered voter, member of the health tracks in Dartmouth. He is known at the local bank, has his own checking account, ATM card. Craig has his own voice now, and he knows what he wants and what he doesn't want, and he knows what's out there in the world because he's had so many opportunities to try different things. It's given him a voice to be heard and an independence that we could never have given him.
I would highly recommend the Building Futures program to all families. In fact, we often joke about it that the Building Futures life planning should be for all teenagers. I mean, there's nothing better than sitting at a table full of people with such great energy planning for one particular child. It's an amazing process. I highly recommend it.
Building Futures supports students from local school systems in southeastern Massachusetts. Provides students with customized supports. Helps students explore different jobs in local businesses. Helps students find and maintain paid employment in their community. Teaches students life skills in areas such as cooking, shopping, banking, and budgeting. Helps students explore options for post-secondary education after they leave high school. Helps students plan for the future. And produces real outcomes for students with disabilities.